Actually, I had the sound off. I have a button on the side here that I can click it again and it re-enables it. And I had it disabled, but basically I just wished everybody good morning. It's 8:42 a.m. I have to start work in like 13 minutes, so there won't be a lot in this video. But I was thinking about how delete. So I built this application, I've started to build this application, and I got it to where I could add these visualizations. And then I got it to where I could delete them, and basically I create a new table and then I delete it. Now the problem is that um, we're not deleting it. I didn't really understand delete when I built this out. So delete is not is I mean it's a synonym, right? It means a lot of different things. But what I wanted it to mean and what it did mean were two different things. So what I did is I deleted it from my dictionary, and I deleted an ST from an ST version. So ST stands for space and time. So basically, I'm trying to build a Angular application that renders ThreeJS things in the browser. That's what I'm trying to build. And I built one of these before and I got about a year into it and I got to where I could build really cool visualizations and stuff, but then it just had some foundational problems and I just had to start all over from scratch. Um, so I've been starting over from scratch. I added some complications. The other one, you could not add multiple visualizations. You could have multiple meshes and things like that in the ThreeJS, but you couldn't have like two fully different renderers. And so I've been sort of working through that. And the thing is so right now so that's one sort of wrinkle of complexity is I added where you could have more than one. The other major wrinkle of complexity is I made it basically to where I have a space and time version, which is my version, the way I want to visualize things. And then there's the ThreeJS visions, which is the way uh, area, which is the way that ThreeJS wants to see things. So, like in my world, in the world that I'm trying to create, a camera knows what it's looking at. But in ThreeJS, a camera does not know what it's looking at. The camera knows what it was originally pointed at, but it does not know what it's looking at. And there's absolutely no, as far as I can tell, there's no way to determine what a camera is looking at. So what I have to do on my side is, or in the last application was when the camera, if whatever it was looking at was moved, the camera has to adjust. I have to tell ThreeJS to do it. Now, so anyway, so I'm creating this whole system for creating visualizations and all that, and I start with create CRUD, right? Create, read, update, delete. So I start with create and then read. So now I have that, and then I implemented delete, but I did not do a very good job of implementing delete because what I all I do is delete my reference to it. That was one thing I didn't really understand is when you create an object, you create a reference and an object. You create both things. You can easily, we have full control over deleting references. We do not have full control over deleting the actual object. The actual object won't be deleted unless every reference to it is gone. So if you create other references to that object, when you go to delete your reference, if there's other ones, it'll just keep it up. So basically, when we do this in this project, in this thing, we have this ST side, right? So if you look at the structure of the application, you know what, I'm going to run the unit tests to npm run test. If you look at the structure of this, you'll see that in the services, you have an ST side, you have an ST folder, and you have a 3 folder. And this is where anything that interacts with ThreeJS is supposed to be. And I think I violated that if I remember correctly. I think there's a point where I actually create a ThreeJS object, a ThreeJS scene outside. Well, okay, so we have our render service. Okay, so here's where we set the render. Okay, so that's good. I was thinking we were setting this, but we actually set the render service here. It's kind of weird because in this I don't know what this is telling me because it's red over here and green over here. This is I added a comment. So in the ThreeJS side, so we're sitting here in three up here, render service. We will set the animation for a function, but we never do delete an animation. We never turn it off. So we should, so we never do like the delete. Um, okay, so yesterday what we were seeing was that um, when we go to delete one, the yeah, we start getting these errors over and over and over again, um, because it keeps calling this because this function does go away even though I've deleted, even though this unit test deletes it. So if we go to this specification, um, it's not the spec, is it? Let's go back to this thing. So we added an F, and that tells it to only run this specification. Then we added an F here, which tells it to focus on this. And see, whenever we run this delete service dot delete renderer, which this is the st renderer service, it's deleting it, but the renderer is still trying to do an animation on something that doesn't exist. I don't know if we have that. It's kind of weird because I don't think we have that issue over here in the. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, we don't have that issue in the actual application. For some reason, the actual application does in fact delete it, but in the unit test, it doesn't delete it. Um, so I don't know why that is. Why deleting is working in the real application, but not in the unit tests. But so when we call it delete renderer, we can definitely see that uh, that this function of error trying to render deleted is happening, and that is happening in this animation service. So when the animation service attempts to run to rotate, that's what's causing these rotations. It's hitting this where something has been marked as deleted, but it was still has a reference to the st render. So we have not, in fact, in the unit test at least, not deleted the render. We actually did do this in the application, and it is deleting it there. So that is a mystery. But um, as we were digging in, the IDE helped us by telling us that in here, when we go to delete the whatever we were just looking at, let's go back. Oh, there it is right there. When we delete this, we should also, like when we're trying to delete a render, we should go into the render and delete and delete it. Now, I think this is an indicator that um, uh, our renderer is um, that I think this is an indication that our renderer is being deleted at some other point, like straight up deleted, but in the real application. So we might end up when we actually do delete the actual renderer here, we might end up with a bug. But the point is that we can't actually delete the renderer, and we don't even attempt to delete the render. So I think we do need to kind of have another function in the renderer service that's for deleting, for unwinding the function, for telling the function, telling ThreeJS that the function doesn't do anything. So I'm going to come in here. And so I'm being spazzy because this is like, normally when I'm writing code, I've done it 100 times before. This is like very new for me. So this is set. So I guess I should call it unset. Unset animation function for stid. and then we're going to get an stid, and that is going to be a number. And that's all we need. And then, so it's going to get this stid, and it's basically going to do this const render get render by id, and it's going to be the stid. And then, and I kind of want to look at get render id. See, so I have a dictionary over here where I store it, and I'm guessing this really should be stid. Because apparently it's not the ThreeJS ID. So when I read that, I'm thinking, oh, this must be the ThreeJS ID, but it's not. But see, so see, when we create a render, we must be passing in the stid. So let's fix that. And if you're thinking to yourself, man, this application is going to take forever to build. That, yeah, that's true. It's going to take a long time. I hope we can get some cool stuff, but so now I take my renderer, and apparently at this point, based on what I read yesterday, I could say set animation loop and null. And apparently that will tell ThreeJS to quit, to turn off the visualization. So I think that will make this issue go away if I call this function. Unset st for function id, and that is in, I believe, in our st renderer service. And I think the easiest way to get to it will be to hit back. Baby, get back. This guy right here. So it seems like I can say this dot render service. So if there's no, I went back and forth on whether this should be 3 renderer service or renderer service. I finally settled on render service. I regret it all the time, but I think I would also regret it the other way around too. I just don't know the right direction to go on that. Render service dot delete, or unset. It was unset. Now there is a delete renderer by ID too that I just noticed. So I'm just going to do this. Right click and go to implementation. So I don't understand why I don't call this one. Oh, and I'm doing this. Okay, so actually I don't want. Actually, I don't want to do this. Okay. I want to call delete renderer by ID. I find that what I just did there is very emotionally difficult for a lot of people. Like once they get an idea of something they want to do, when they find out that it's not what they want to do. Okay, so now I'm wondering if at some other point I'm calling delete renderer ID. So I'm gonna do that. Search for this. And save this thing. And hopefully that little error, all of that goes away now. We're gonna drag all the way to the bottom here. Okay, so it did go away. Okay, so now let's see if it's being called somewhere else. So in the visualization service we call delete render. Okay, so this was our prune by render ID. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Put a little comment there. This might not be necessary. add this function to the st renderer service. So apparently, and this was probably like a cheap attempt at a quick and dirty fix for some problem that I may have now. I don't know, but but I'm gonna leave it there. And at some point, at least I give myself some sort of chance at figuring this out. I hit save on this. Just make sure we're still good. Okay, so now the next step will be to go back to this guy and get rid of the FIT down here and hit save and see if we have any unit tests that fail because of that. It wouldn't surprise me. Okay, we want to get rid of the founded in the renderer service. Oh, it's in the animation service. Saving, hopefully get another rebuild. Last but not least, in this spec, we want to get rid of this and run the whole thing. So all the unit tests pass, and it is not unusual for all the unit tests to pass, but the application is broken. That would be surprising. Feel like it feels snappier now. It's still getting faster and faster every time you change views, which is probably a sign that there's a problem. Um, and I'm wondering, I bet you this means that it was lost, deleted or something. I don't know. But so basically, I feel like we did the right thing. It probably makes sense actually at this point since we think this isn't necessary to remove this, run all the unit tests, and then tomorrow when we run end-to-end tests, we'll know if anything is broken. And that is the joy of end-to-end testing, is that it is very clear that, okay, refresh just to make sure it actually ran again. So we did not have any expectations that broke. We can still create things. Go in there, we can look at this view, we can move back to this view, we can delete. So it seems like everything's working, but it would be good to run the end-to-end tests to make sure that nothing's working. I do feel, it feels snappier to me though. It does feel like it's working better. Anyways, so yeah, I feel like if end-to-end, well, I don't think we're at 100% anymore. Yeah, so we need to get ourselves back up to, we need to make sure the end-to-end tests work tomorrow and then come back and get ourselves back up to 100%. I don't quite understand why we're not at 100% because we did add a new function, but we deleted it. So I'm not exactly sure where we're missing some code. But anyways, that's that. Happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.